Welcome to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast.
You have to know history, you have to know wrestlers, you have to know matches.
My belly's just a little big, my hand is just a little big, but brother, I am bad and they know I'm bad.
There is no revolution.
You are truly the future of Lucha Underground.
I got it. How about a little heel turn?
And if they piss somebody, if they took somebody off here, well then, there goes their career.
Well, don't piss anybody off.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. The wrestling podcast will review Monday Night Raw, unfortunately, and give you guys the wrestling news of the week, of which there is a fuck ton this week of news. Oh yes, my name of the show, talking on purpose, a little bit like William Shatner out of Star Trek. Yeah, just doing that for no reason. I notice that I do that sometimes at the start of the show, and I'm surprised that no one else has called me out for that shit yet. But regardless, there is a man who unfortunately couldn't make pay-per-view duty during the week, but he is here. He is here, and the fans are clamouring for his opinion. And he is a man who calmed the manly tears of Vince McMahon this week after his ratings disaster. That's why he was gone. It's Matt Marsander. How you doing, Matt?
It's me. You say I missed the pay-per-view duty. That doesn't mean I got to avoid watching it.
No, you still watched it. You still, yeah. How did you think I summarised the event for you?
Yeah, I can't argue with anything.
Yeah. I think overall the general consensus is
Survivor Series equals shocking.
Yeah, pretty much.
That sums it up pretty well.
I know some people say they enjoy it, and fair enough. We hope that you do, to be honest. But I didn't get any love out of that particular show. But it's good to have you back, Matt. It just doesn't feel the same without you.
Oh, missed.
It just doesn't. I cried that night. I did. Manly tears, like Vince McMahon did this week, of course. Manly.
He's just sort of what's happened to my product?
He's sobbing and whispering John Cena's name over and over. That's what he's doing. So, Matt, we've got a packed show this week. Big time. We recorded early last week, so we said, you know what, we'll catch the news and the questions that we missed. And oh God almighty, did we miss a lot of news. And we're going to have to catch up on all of that this week. Of course we do. We don't let any of this shit get through the cracks, which I think that TNA had hoped it would. But we're getting there. So, as along those lines. Matt, if anyone wants to get latest updates on the show or get right in touch with the Marsander Mafia itself directly, what is the Twitter handle?
At Talk Wrestle Pod.
That is it. That is that Twitter handle. That's fabled there. Fabled.
That's it.
And of course you can join our Facebook group, facebook.com/Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast. That is the place to be, the hottest ticket in town, with all the new updates and interesting videos about a man who falsely said his name was Fuck That Bitch. But let's not talk about that, because I'm sure me and Matt, that's basically us walking into tons of bad jokes right there. So
that's it.
We can't do that. Matt, we have hit a milestone this week. Do you want to know what milestone it is?
I think I remember you mentioning of 500.
Oh, the letter 500 reverberates around us. Guys, just to go over, people may be wondering what the fuck are you talking about. I haven't actually explained it, but I'm getting it. We said that we wanted to hit 400 subscribers by the end of this year. That was always our target. We said that right at the beginning of the year. Hopefully we can get up to 400, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or at very least we said it once we started getting traction. Well, we beat that long ago, and now we've hit 500. 500 over the course of this week, and suddenly that 1,000 subscriber goal for next year, me and Matt keep talking about it doesn't seem that far away. We've still got an extra month at the end of this year.
It's definitely possible.
It's possible. So that's what we're looking for down there. Thank you guys for supporting the show, sharing it. We wouldn't be here without you guys. And there's a select few fans that constantly leave questions and comments and likes and share the videos and have been with us for a very long time. We're especially appreciative to you guys, and you know who you are. So I don't want this to make this seem like episode 100 where I just thank people. It's like I'm giving them a verbal blowjob right there, and I don't really don't really feel comfortable getting that way. So what do we have planned on the show this week? Like I said, a fuck ton of news involving TNA. And we haven't talked about TNA in a while, and sorry TNA fans, it's not exactly going to be positive stuff for the running of that company. We're also going to talk about Raw's big ratings drop as we talked about earlier on there, but that's more stuff in the news as well. We've got the fan feedback questions from you guys. We're going to talk a little bit about NXT, especially as that London show is slowly but surely coming up, less than 3 weeks away. We're very excited. And then we've got, unfortunately, the Raw review, where we're going to explain in vivid detail the reasons why that Raw was a record-breaking Raw, but for all the wrong reasons. So, obviously, we're going to get into that there. Matt, is there anything that you might want to cover in the world outside of wrestling before we delve into the world of wrestling? Is there any procrastination you'd like to do this week?
I don't think of any procrastination, no.
No? All right. Well, let's get into it then.
All set.
It is the name of our show. It is the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast, and we begin. TNA announced this week that, at the end of last week, that they found a new network. Remember all the news outbreaks that apparently Destination America had canned their ass, and certainly seems that is the case, because why would they want to look for a new network when what they've said all along is, we're fine, Destination America wants us, it's great. And the Destination America's like, I don't just want TNA gone, I want all wrestling gone, so Ring of Honor can fuck off as well. So that's essentially what's happened.
I think that was really bold of them, though. It's just like, no wrestling at all. And it's probably just like the ROH guy, just like, but dick.
Yeah, I thought the ROH one was a bit weird. Maybe they just turned off wrestling. Maybe that's the case. The interactions with TNA has tarred them, tarred it all with a different brush. But in regardless, it doesn't matter. So, Pop TV. Our English fans do not know what the fuck that is. I mean, to be honest, even before this had launched and they had announced they're moving to Pop TV, I didn't know what the fuck it was. So, that's being that. Obviously, now I've done my research.
Apparently.
Yeah. So, let's look at the facts. That's good for TNA. Pop TV, Matt, in America is available on more television screens than Destination America was. Happy days. Happy days. Nice. But I think TNA may be getting ahead of themselves, thinking that their viewership is going to increase. That won't be the case. It might be a little bit, but moving 2 networks in 2 years, you're going to lose a large proportion of your fans. That's just the way it goes. I mean, they already have, that's the bad news. No show that's successful needs to move network twice in 2 years. That just doesn't happen. You're gonna some small minority of your fans will think, well, it's moving again. I'm not gonna bother chasing it. Some people can be as lazy as that, if you will be. That it's just a case of changing their DVRs. Sometimes they just don't want to do it. If we were to move the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast to a different channel on YouTube, we would lose probably about 50% of our fans. Let's just be honest.
I mean, to be fair, I can kind of agree on the sheer laziness of that. Like, with regard to the DVR, I don't actually remember the last time I watched Raw on my TV off my DVR.
Yeah.
It still records every week. And so, like, every now and then I'm like, why have I got no space on the... And I've got, like, 3 episodes of Raw on there. Like,
which are 3 hours each, so that's amazing. This deal obviously keeps TNA alive, but no means are they really close to actually rising up and getting back on their feet, Rocky style. That isn't on the cards for these guys. It's a slow and painful death at this point, and this allows them to survive just a little bit longer. Really, is that what you want as a company? And my thoughts on TNA have been shown.
Well documented.
Well documented, and I've just given up patience with the company, and it's not so much the wrestlers or the product, it's the company of TNA that I've lost patience with, and there's more on that later on as well. But I mean, Matt, this is it's hard for me to feel as if this is a good thing. I mean, obviously it is, I guess, but
well, it's kind of a difficult thing when I read somewhere that, like, it's all well and good, but Pop TV aren't even really going to be paying.
They are paying TNA. right? They are giving.
But I couldn't like find like the absolute definitions of it. But I swear I read somewhere they were sort of like, well, yeah, we're giving them money, but no, we're not.
It's
kind of
the rumors have come out, which apparently are incorrect. So we'll give TNA their props here with this. That TNA were paying Pop TV for that TV time, right? Which obviously, if that's the case, that looks so bad on TNA that the network would only take them on if they received the money from TNA to do so. Right?
Yeah.
That isn't the case, right? I don't think they're getting much money paid by Pop TV, but they are getting some. All right, so that isn't the ultimate bad news for TNA. But regardless of that, that's very small things. When you've got people like Eric Young still slamming fans and wrestling journalists for apparently getting it wrong that they were canned by Destination America, and then Dixie Carter comes out in an interview and says, well, actually, I think it was because of an email that I sent, and they kind of bring it up. Man, it's just like...
I can just imagine that sounds just great, because it's just almost like, yeah, I think I may have made a mistake.
Yeah. It's... I mean, come on.
Just all of a sudden, Dixie Carter's like, may have done a whoopsie.
Yeah. I mean, TNA fans that aren't wrestling fans, they're just TNA fans, so they vehemently defend TNA, right? They will look at it along the lines of that the world's against them, which I've already explained. That's such a stupid outlook to think of. You know, WWE have that at the moment, where it's just the haters that are the problem with their TV ratings, not their booking or creativity. But the fact is that you can't say that moving to 2 different networks in 2 different years is beneficial to your show. It just isn't.
No.
If you moved back to Spike, then maybe. But obviously Spike don't want anything to do with TNA. For obvious reasons. Matt, let's get to the next story involving TNA, because this validates everything that I've said about TNA being run by a bunch of fucking idiots, right? Because people may say, Tony, at this point, you have a vendetta against TNA. You just want to see him fail.
You're such a TNA hater.
I'm a hater, man. I'm a hater, right? Which I am, to be honest. I fucking despise TNA at this point. Not for their talent, not for their product, but for the company. I always make that differentiate. I'm trying to get the words out. It's late, Matt. We're doing this late at night, you know. That's why I'm getting my words muddled up. So this is part of the reason why it completely validates what I've said. TNA have come out and have cancelled their much-hyped India tour until next year. So all the dates for the India tour are cancelled. Done.
Yep.
And this is... TNA can't fucking business. They don't know how. Remember, this was like the last of Dixie Carter's big mega ultra super mega announcement that they were going to India, and guess what? They're not even going there.
It's like, get ready, guys. We're going to India later than we planned.
Yeah. Now, initial reports have come out that...
But they're still coming to the UK.
Yeah, well, because they always get good business in the UK, you know.
Yeah.
That's one of the areas of their business model that you know, thankfully for them, hasn't gone tits up. Like, it's still pretty strong for them. But... So the big uber mega announcement, we're going to India, it's awesome. They were doing all these things. They even, like, as far as I've heard from some fans, I don't watch TNA anymore, they're pushing some Indian star that isn't very good just because they want to get that Indian demographic, okay? Their talent get their bags packed, got themselves ready to go, and it stopped. And initial reports said that they weren't getting paid. Reports afterwards that TNA is still paying them for the tour they're not having. So people are like, oh, well, that's good then. That's good. Yeah, that's good for the talent. But TNA are now paying their talent shows that they're not even going to get profit from.
So what are they going to do when it's just like, right, now we're going to go to India. You're going to pay for us? But we've already paid you for the India tour.
Yeah. It's... Like, they're citing logistical issues, Matt. Logistical issues, which for people that don't know, that basically means getting across borders, flying the ring over, flying the talent over, putting them up in hotels, security for the events. That's what logistical issues entail. Yeah. Basically, the running of the show. If they had when they had decided that they were going to go to India, they should have foreseen this weeks ago. Fuck
I
it,
was going to say, the one thing is, especially considering if you're going to make the announcement, just like, we're going to go to India, not like we're going to go to India, when actually you mean we're trying to go to India.
Yeah.
Sort of like, we're going, 100%, we've done everything. Every box has been ticked, every, dotted the I's, crossed the T's, we are fucking going. Not, we want to go?
Yeah. Matt, they should have had all this shit done in the bank, sorted out by the time they made the announcement.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Jesus Christ. People may say stuff against WWE, but they never make problems like these never trouble WWE because their infrastructure is so solid now. And that's something we're going to blast WWE for their creative plenty later on in this show. But they don't make mistakes like this, and TNA shouldn't be doing it. Really, it should be beyond them at this point.
Yeah,
this is rookie, mistakes that they're making, and it's a textbook business disaster. This is the amount of money I imagine that's out of TNA's pocket after doing this is it must be astronomical. It really must be. They're paying their talent for shows they're not running. And if they're not paying their talent for shows they're not running, it's even more of a condemnation on them, because they've got their talent, which by the way, most of them aren't on guaranteed contracts anymore, Matt, as we had already covered with the show. That suddenly it's like they've got their bags packed, ready to go, and they're told, "Oh wait, we're not doing this tour, so you're not getting any money."
That's
so
it.
you better
It was essentially like rocking up to the bus and just like, "Why are you all here?"
Yeah, you better go find some fucking indie dates quick, because we ain't paying you.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, that isn't the case, but I'm covering both scenarios. Either way, it's horrendous on TNA. This must have really fucking shattered the morale that they had. And hopefully, I hope it made some of the people that tweeted in defense of TNA with the news of their new TV deal look a bit fucking stupid and feel a bit stupid for defending the company in the manner that they did. Because it's them ultimately that gets harmed in this, and obviously Dixie Carter's bank account. But that's just the case of it here.
It's definitely one of those like, how do you feel about that? Do you need your butthurt cream? You're struggling with that, aren't you?
Yeah. Matt, come on, this is TNA. This is the guys that think they are the second biggest wrestling company in the globally, in the world.
Apparently.
And they can't. Guys, that validates the majority of things that we said about TNA as a company.
I'd probably put New Japan over TNA.
I would, but it's what they think of themselves.
Oh yeah.
But
I put Lucha over TNA.
I guarantee you, Matt, every person that left TNA is like, I'm talking about the James Storms, the Gunners, the AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, are rocking up to all these other promotions now and just feeling as if the whole weight of the world is off their shoulders, so they can do whatever they like.
Yeah, just rolling on in, just sort of like,
yeah,
I feel good for this.
I don't have to deal with all of this shit anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So, there we are. TNA for you, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic. Well done.
Stop being a fuck up.
By the way, guys, this is going to be a fairly negative review of wrestling as a whole, because there was a lot of bad shit that happened in wrestling this week. And me and Matt don't like covering things like this. We would much rather report to you that TNA had a fantastic India tour, and looks like they're getting a lot more fans and a new demographic. Looks like they're getting their shit in order. But unfortunately, we can't. We can only report on the news that comes out. And that is the news. So,
it's not positive.
Yeah, exactly. Moving into more not positive news before people think we are WWE fanatics, which clearly we're not.
Oh yeah, like that place is perfect at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk a bit about them. Raw dropped below 3 million viewers this week. It is the first time since they have done this on a 3-hour format, and it is the first time since I think the last time was like 1996, I believe, or maybe 97.
Something like that. Yeah.
Before the Attitude Era began, all that started, and they were doing all the shitty booking that. Funny enough, the booking of nowadays kind of reminds me about that. We had a question about that, didn't we? About this era, and its kind of overall crappiness, what does it remind us of? And I think I said, like, the 95, 96, 97, before WCW kicked them up the arse a bit. So
Yeah. Before they sort of decided to come along with a swift boot.
yeah.
So you're getting complacent. Fix it.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then obviously Vince McMahon had to revolutionise his product, and he did. Fair play to the guy, but unfortunately there isn't a WCW around at the moment to do the same thing. Wouldn't that be great if TNA were doing fantastic and forcing Raw and forcing WWE to come up with new ideas and push new stars and look outside the box, because they're so safe, you know? Well, they're obviously not that safe, but still. So yeah, Raw drops below 3 million viewers. Back when we talked to Solid Monster, I kind of mishandled my words. I said that, do you think it's going to take them dropping below a 3.0 rating? And what I meant wasn't a 3.0 rating, was 3 million viewers. That's what I meant. And I said I didn't think it... Matt, didn't I say back then I didn't think it would happen? I thought that...
Yeah.
It's come on, Raw has to get over 3 million each week. Easy to get 3 million views.
Yeah, no, it was Solomon who was the next. It was just sort of like, I'm the sick sadistic prick who wants to see him go lower than that.
Yeah, and look, well, guys, we're here. The final door has come and hit us, and all the things that we thought wasn't going to happen are happening. It's Bizarro World, right? So it averaged under 3 million viewers. We're about 2.9 million. They didn't do well to start off the show, and then they tanked as they went on. Probably what with the quality of the show went on, you know, actually on the review, which we'll go through as well. I wonder with this whether or not with Vince like throwing a gas. I imagine he blew a gasket backstage when hearing these ratings. I wonder if Road Dogg went up to and said, Vince, it's just the haters, Vince. It's not you, it's the haters.
Yeah.
You know. Or is it, what's it, Matt? He goes, it's not the creative team, they're doing great, it's just streaming. Matt, it's streaming.
Oh, them damn streaming.
It's fucking the rise of streaming, that's what's done it to us. There's nothing wrong. I wonder if that happened. Yeah.
I think they've tried to justify that though, and then that is kind of the hardest thing, because at least on their ratings they get like a DVR set up, and they know how many people have like DVR'd an episode.
That's it, yeah.
But it's not quite the same, where it's just sort of like, I don't know.
But even then, I imagine that overall viewership was down regardless. I mean, that's just the obvious thing to look at. And Matt, I see this as undeniable proof that the booking of Survivor Series was an absolute
Joke.
A joke, yeah. That they really fucked up that booking. Nothing that I can say on this show can validate my words more than that under 3 million views rating. There's nothing. There's no other facts I can give you that substantiate my claims on that review more than that. The vast majority of fans do not want to see what they set up for us. So, you know, that's it. It's so bad for the wrestling industry as a whole, because wrestling by proxy is hotter when WWE is hotter, right? WWE being the biggest is the company that's synonymous with wrestling, Matt, especially in the Western area, the way, you know, England, UK, everywhere that isn't Japan looks at WWE as the wrestling company, right?
Oh yeah, that's it.
So if they're not doing so well, everyone suffers, and it's not just independent shows, it's wrestling podcasts like us. We explained before that if WWE is red hot and getting fucking 7 million viewers, which they had in the height of their Attitude Era, Attitude Era in general, then that's more
peak,
that's more people searching for shows like ours. So we naturally get more.
Yeah.
So
everyone improves.
Yeah, everyone gets it. If WWE does well, we all do better by proxy. But obviously they're not. That's just the bottom line of it there.
Yeah.
And Matt, there can't be any more validation for the claims that we've said about the booking and the creative of the show for the last year, let's be honest, than this rating. It's all come up to this. What's your thoughts on it?
It's tough. I mean, it's kind of difficult, especially with the fact that it's just, oh, what are we going to do with this? Just whatever. They haven't really they don't seem to have much plan for anything anymore.
No,
it's just sort of like, we'll go with whatever has worked before, because obviously, like, the repeat of, like, Roman Reigns getting screwed out, that was, let's do the Daniel Bryan screw again.
Almost frame by frame, by the way.
Perfectly, yeah.
Mm.
And it was, but now it's just become predictable. That it's just come to a point now. It's like I didn't really catch much of the end of this week's Raw, because I was like, well, I know Roman Reigns is going to be on top because the odds are stacked against him. And it's now hit that point recently where it's sort of like, I can call this without watching it.
Yeah.
And now I don't have to watch Raw because I can predict it all, like some sort of crazy psychic.
Yeah, but it doesn't actually take that much brain power to be able to do it now.
Just go, I know exactly the way they're going.
Yeah. I tell you what the problem is, WWE in general have got a template for how they want to book the majority of their things and how they film the show in general, and they've very rarely deviated off that for the last 5 years, let's just be honest. Their backstage segments are a lot like the same. Their in-ring promos and opening segments pretty much the same, just changing a few of the people and some of the words.
Yeah.
That they're paying the price for the inability to be, funnily enough, creative, right? That's the almost ironic thing, you know, that their creative department aren't being very creative.
Very creative, yeah, exactly. It's all just being the same stuff.
Yeah, and you know, giving Sheamus as your world champion is
oh yeah, that's great news.
You want an example of boring and stale as your company? Make him your champion. Go for it, and you'll see the ratings carry on as they are. So there we go. I'm very excited. Matt, I'm very excited to see what the rating pops in the mid-month as leading up to TLC. They're probably going to be fucking shit, let's be honest. I guarantee you the alarms will be going off in Titan Towers if they pop another below 3 million rating next week, and Vince is going to damn near throw someone out of a window. He's going to go fucking ballistic. When the funny thing is, the only person responsible for those ratings is Vince McMahon himself.
Yeah.
But still. So news that we feel much worse about because it's a guy that we do want to root for. Cesaro has a torn rotator cuff. He is out for 4 to 6 months. Matt brought this to my attention.
Shit.
Yeah. The collective wrestling community said shit, all in unison at the same time. It could be heard around the globe as Cesaro made this announcement. As soon as you told me, Matt, that you had an injury, I didn't know anything. But in my initial thoughts, that it was a torn rotator cuff. I said it to you on that conversation, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just his manner of wrestling. You know, he does a lot of those uppercuts. You know, I just thought that it could be a torn rotator cuff. It's the same injury that Manny Pacquiao had after his fight with Floyd Mayweather, and initially I thought he might be out for longer than 4 to 6 months, but still he is a Swiss Superman, so hopefully he can get back sooner than later.
That's it. I mean, hell, we've seen people come back from the same sort of thing quicker. Hopefully that's the case.
Hopefully he can, at this point, only in this instant, he can emulate John Cena and just fucking recover at the rate of, funny enough, Superman. Funny enough.
Completely just boss it out.
That's it. I mean, this really sucks for the guy because he just came off that awesome match with Roman Reigns last week that stole the show. Jesus, did it steal the show?
Definitely. It's probably the worst part. It's a terrible repetition because it's just the moment the moment he starts just doing really well and everything, all the momentum's proper going, everything's coming up Cesaro.
Yeah.
Injured.
Yeah, and it seems like everything's starting to finally, the stars are aligning for the guy, right? And everything, like the momentum's there, as you say, mate, something gets in the way. Whether or not it's him being paired up with a manager that's been told to, you know, promote someone else, or he's been booked as a jobber even though he is getting well over, and then he gets injuries, which has happened, and still, it looks like his return might, don't know the exact dates, but it might coincide with him coming back with Tyson Kidd. But this might mean that Cesaro misses WrestleMania, which would be Really shit for the guy. He'll
Devastating.
He'll be like Rollins, unfortunately. They're two guys that deserve, with their body of work that they've done over the course of this year, they fucking deserve to be on the biggest event of next year. But Matt, that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
And it's a really difficult situation because now it's just like, now what? Like we're now in that awful position where it's like, well, we don't really. Like, how many other crowd favourites are still around? Ambrose?
I think Ambrose is probably one of the last guys that the fans really get behind.
Yeah.
You know, despite all the problems. I mean, you might say Ziggler, but even then, I think people have given up on Ziggler now.
I won't go as far as say I've given up on Ziggler, but I know that eventually.
But he's not getting the responses he used to.
I'm not gonna see anything out of him.
No, exactly. So
I'll enjoy watching him work, but that will be it.
And unfortunately, guys, this does sort of incorporate the unfortunate stereotype that apparently Vince McMahon has with indie stars that come to WWE, that their bodies are already wrecked by the time they get through the doors, and they shouldn't be trusted. I have heard from a few people that Vince sort of believes that way. He's had it with Daniel Bryan. He's had it now with Seth Rollins. Now he's had it with Cesaro. There's a lot of these guys that are indie stars and made their own living outside of WWE, come into WWE, they get injured, and then Vince get this overthought. I can't back this guy because he's had 10 years of wrestling experience before he got to me.
And even if that 10 years of wrestling experience is sort of the reason why he's over.
Yeah.
The reason why he's doing so well, don't care.
Yeah. In his eyes,
that's 10 years that's not under my flag.
Yeah, it's 10 years that I haven't shaped and molded this guy, and 10 more years of wear and tear on his body outside of my performance center. You know, so it's just it is a shame. But I'm sure I'd like to. If a report comes out about Vince saying something, I wouldn't be shocked. I firmly believe that he thinks that. But
yeah,
and I have heard sources, but they aren't fully 100%. So I wouldn't want to say. It's certainly something that I would believe Vince thinking. But anyway, Solomon Crow asked for his release this week from WWE, and he was granted it. He is gone. He just never managed to get going at all, really, this guy. With his hacker gimmick in NXT, I thought that his gimmick was never really explored, and his matches, Matt, were overly a bit poor. He never really...
Yeah. I don't know.
He never really got on the right foot.
Yeah, I don't really hold much of opinion when it comes to sort of like the Solomon Crow gimmick. It's just like...
It never really... It just didn't... He never got off the right foot with it, right? Do you get that feeling like he just...
Yeah, definitely.
It was...
Yeah, because he just like some vignettes and that lot, and that was kind of interesting. I wouldn't go as far as say that was cool. It's just everything about it just struggled.
Yeah, as soon as he got in the ring, man, the whole idea just didn't work after that.
Yeah.
You know, apparently his girlfriend Havoc, who was in the she got like canned in the tryouts, if you remember, because they bounced up on her Twitter. So I'm sure that maybe that was playing into his mind. But I'm sure that's a small note. It was. I'm sure he just wasn't happy with how he's being used. And a guy like him, if he's not going to get over like huge in NXT, he ain't getting over at all on the main roster. And you probably saw.
It's another interesting one because it's another one of those like indie darlings.
But he doesn't have the look of like a Finn Balor, or he doesn't have the skill like the popping power of like let's say a Finn Balor. Finn Balor is like the mold that WWE would love to pick out of an indie star.
Oh yeah.
And Solomon Crow's everything but that. So I imagine that he saw the writing on the wall and thought, you know what, I'm just going to accelerate this process and go on my way, start getting bookings
like, we know what's going on here.
Yeah. And that way you can go, while his name is still somewhat relevant in the indie space. I mean, because you can go back to his old name, people might still know him as that. And I'm sure he'll do fine. I hope he does okay, to be honest. Just don't show up in TNA, mate, because there's no hope for you, really, let's be honest. But
you can go back to like not using that fucking awful finish that WWE gave him.
What
was that terrible, ugly splash
header thing? I don't know. It was weird. just nothing ever worked for the guy. Let's just be honest. But there we are. Solomon Crowe, he's gone. And I doubt many of NXT will miss him because he just never made his mark. Now, the person that was released, but was done so of WWE's volition, was Brad Maddox.
That cocky prick.
That cocky prick. Yeah, Brad Maddox. Nice choice of words there, Matt. Nice choice of words. Now, apparently, he got himself in a tad bit of trouble on a SmackDown taping where he used the words, funny enough, cocky pricks, in a promo. And apparently that got him in trouble. WWE didn't like it.
Was it in a promo?
I think so.
I thought it was like in the ring.
Or in the ring. It was loud enough that it was heard on camera. That's why.
Yeah.
So he used it. WWE management didn't like it one bit, so they canned his ass the next day. Literally the next day, he was gone, out. Now, if that is the reason, I mean, because there's a lot of reasons to release Brad Maddox. Because to be honest, he's one of those guys that also never really made his stamp, and when you're doing stuff on SmackDown, means that they just don't trust you or gimmick and you wrestling at all because you're not on Raw, right? This is actually quite ludicrous. This WWE should feel quite ashamed of firing him for saying cocky pricks, because it wasn't too long ago, Matt, that John Cena used the word wanker live on Raw, uncensored, unbleeped.
In the UK, yeah.
Now, to the UK, wanker is actually quite offensive. If you call someone a wanker on the street, they probably will punch you, right?
I would be more insulted by someone calling me a wanker than a cocky prick.
Yeah. To be honest, yeah. So it's okay for John Cena to say something offensive, unbleeped, uncensored, on a live episode, no doubt, right? Then Brad Maddox saying cocky pricks on an edited episode of SmackDown where they could have easily, Matt, they could have cut this out.
Yeah.
It's a taped episode. So what I look at this is that it's a stupid reason, but it is a reason, and Brad Maddox was quite expendable to begin with. He gave WWE management a reason to fire him, and that's all they needed. It doesn't matter if it was a good one, it was a reason.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those moments where it's just like, they just wanted him gone, didn't they?
Yeah. That they was looking for, you know, if I were Adam Rose, I would be ducking, and because he was tag teaming with this guy, right? So without Adam Rose, I would be watching my words very carefully. I would watch where I step, because you may get fired, right?
Please, can I have another?
What is it that we had at the start of our intro every week now? People are afraid to say things, walking on eggshells, for being afraid of losing their career. Well, don't piss anybody off. Well, obviously, Brad Maddox pissed someone off. It just didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So, sure. Maybe next week WWE stick by their guns and they fire John Cena. Wouldn't that be a shock? Right, of course they would. They're not firing John Cena.
Are you serious?
Yeah. He would have to say a lot of stuff to get fired by... he would have to go Hulk Hogan level to get fired by WWE, so...
Even then, I think they'd probably still protect him.
They would try to. Vince with his manly tears this week. Vince's manly tears. Backstage news, Matt. Lana, apparently...
Oh, yeah.
Is not getting on too well with management backstage. Apparently, they're not getting on with many people.
With the nuclear heat, as people have been describing it.
Exactly. Now, the reason why I brought this up, because this is all rumours, even though it has come from somewhat reputable sources, that this is the case, and certainly the fact that Lana has been brought back on television, even though Rusev has, probably more of an indication than we could ever say here, but... word is that management fucking despise the woman. Apparently, they don't like her for the fact that she leaked her engagement to Rusev on social media, and just things that she's put on her Instagram and Twitter account in the interim, right?
Yep.
And, you know, there was some stuff about her making posts against Paige and stuff like that. Whether or not it was
that Paige was bullying her or something.
Right, whether it was in character or out of character, even though the fact it would sound like it was in character, because that was the point where Paige was turning heel. So, if I was with Lana, she was kind of helping the character get a little bit more over.
Yeah.
Right? So let's just say that. The thing is, right, Matt, this is absolutely ridiculous if this is true. WWE cannot decide if they want to be, if they want to use kayfabe, or if they just want to let it die.
Yeah, it seems awkward, doesn't it?
Yeah. On one note, they're happy to show Total Divas and show these women, you know, being something else of their characters outside the screen. They showed Nikki Bella and Nikki and Brie Bella fighting with their rivalry in the ring, but making up backstage before they actually did on camera, right? So they're more than happy to show all that, right? Some of their Twitter accounts actively state that they are playing characters. They are not the Twitter accounts of that character, right?
Of the individual. No.
They are the Twitter accounts of this person, not the character, right?
Yeah.
So when this stuff comes out, and Lana announces her engagement to Rusev, why should this make any sort of factor into what was happened? Like, that's her personal account, right? You can't just tell people that, oh, you know, fair enough, you can use all your social media, make all this, and some people can use it in character, some people can't. You can't make a double precedence. If you want to have kayfabe back, you need to have it across the board. You need to get rid of Total Divas. You need to get rid of Breaking Ground as much as I like it, right? And you need to go full kayfabe, right? Because otherwise it doesn't work. Or you just let it fucking die and don't use it as an excuse to be pissed off at someone. Like,
yeah,
I don't think WWE understand.
It's like, oh, but the storyline's dead. It's like everyone by now knows that it's a work.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to play it up anymore.
WWE
don't even shoot.
WWE don't even try and defend kayfabe, so there's no reason of them getting annoyed when it doesn't work. I thought it was just absolutely ludicrous. This is bonkers, right? Two different sets of rules for two different sets of people, Matt. Right?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And sometimes I think this is quite ridiculous, to be honest. And you know what, Matt? I actually think that part of the issue may be that WWE has a history of not liking people when they've got such an obvious out of the company. With Lana, she's an actor by trade, so she gets fired by WWE. I very much doubt she'll have much problem getting work somewhere else. Right? She was doing movies before she went to them anyway. She was doing a bit part in both of the Pitch Perfect movies, right? And the first one of them came out, I believe, just as she was joining WWE, so it would have been filmed before then, right? So we know that Vince has a history of not liking people that have such a clear out, that
essentially don't need WWE.
Yeah, right. If you guys are thinking, well, guys, you're making some pretty big claims here, go read Daniel Bryan's book. You know, he says on that book that he had a conversation with Vince when he was first released for the tie incident with Justin Roberts, right? That Daniel Bryan said to him on the phone, well, it's fine because I can actually make more money on the indies than what I'm getting paid for in your developmental. And Vince was quite taken aback. He was like, what? What? Really? And then he called him back so many months later, and obviously that must have etched away on him and said, look, we want you back. Here's main roster. Here you go. Bing, bang, boom. There you go. He doesn't... I just think this is absolutely ridiculous. And if I were Lana, I would be looking for an out of that company because they've shown themselves to be not only petty, but this is fucking ridiculous.
Oh, there's definitely some true colours going on.
Yeah. It really is. Who knows, maybe people, if they want to start rumours, maybe one thing to think about is apparently the rumours that Vince was testing her relationship with Rusev by pairing her up with Ziggler, right? And
there's been quite a few of that where it's just sort of like, oh, what he's actually been doing is almost like trying to break them sort of thing.
Yeah. And maybe that didn't work, so maybe he's just a little bit pissed. Maybe that's, well, how could he ever get with a woman like her? And so he sets this up, doesn't work, and suddenly he's like, well, doesn't want to admit that he's a little bit wrong. I'm not saying that's the case, because we have no substantial evidence to state that, but that's just food for thought for your theory crafting about why WWE are obviously being really shitty towards, well, I'm not saying shitty because they haven't done anything yet, but apparently they have such negative thoughts towards Lana when she's really not done anything at all.
Yeah.
Like, if you remember, like, I think that she released on her Instagram the picture between her and Rusev, and on her Instagram it's very much her Instagram, but her Twitter, then she used it as her character. I think she already had a precedence of her doing this, so she posted up pictures on Twitter of her and Ziggler together and all this sort of stuff. So it wasn't as if she posted it on her Twitter. I don't know. Maybe I've got that wrong, but to be honest, even then, it's fucking stupid.
But then it's quite interesting considering, like, I saw one today, a picture today, which kind of all served as a reminder. I was like, hang on a second. Because there's also rumours that Ziggler's involved with Dana Brooke down in NXT.
Yeah.
And there's pictures of that on Instagram.
Yeah, right? So, oh, wow, man, then clearly they must have heat on Dolph Ziggler. Jesus.
Vince give a shit about that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Maybe he does. I don't know. It's hard to tell whether he does or not because, to be honest, even when he likes Dolph Ziggler, he'll put him in the mid-card doing nothing anyway. So I don't know. I just think this is absolutely ridiculous. I really do. Kayfabe's dead, WWE. Kind of get with it. You helped make kayfabe dead. You know, social media definitely did it for you, but you weren't fighting it. It was with Total Divas. As soon as you made Total Divas the show, you accepted it and moved on, and that's okay. I didn't have a problem with them treating kayfabe as if it was done and out and gone, but you can't have a double precedence. So this is a bit stupid. That is our news section this week. All of it fucking negative. I hate weeks like this sometimes, man. About all this shit. I'm sure our fans love it because we get so passionate about it and talking about all these heated moral dilemmas. With me, it's fucking exhausting. Jeez. But still, hopefully this week will be a little bit calmer on us. As maybe some good news will come out. Someone will get their wife pregnant and they'll be happy, and someone will get a new contract that's worth lots of money, and WWE pops a good rate. Hopefully that'll happen. Hopefully that'll be good stuff. You know what, Matt? What we need. I'm quite exhausted from that big news section. What we need to get through this, the most positive part of our show, Matt. What could that be?
Could just be. I think some fan feedback.
I think you're right with it, man. I think you're on the money, right there. Let's do some fan feedback right now. Crimson Omega educates us, saying that the most devastating move in pro wrestling is no longer the schoolboy roll-up pin. It is the PTO on the announcer's table, and that's a fucking devastating hold, man.
God forbid.
Now, to be honest, when she's doing it on the announcer's table, she should be arrested for outright killing this woman. Because when it's done on the announcer's table, everyone knows that it's like 5 times as dangerous, right there. So
yeah,
that's some pretty harsh shit right there. So Heelbook actually put up a meme about this. To be honest, it's quite funny. Yeah, I actually thought that they would figure out that it was a bit dumb doing that the first time, but obviously not. They actually did it again this week. So sure. Yeah. It's like the figure 4 leg lock on the table, man. Oh my goodness. The arm bar on the table. Oh god.
Not the table.
The mandible claw on the table.
Ah, God.
Yeah. You know? Just the gator roll on the table. Oh my goodness. Someone could fall off this thing. Jeez. So, there you are. Alex from Wrestling Boom asks if we could bring any 5 non-WWE wrestlers to WWE, who would it be and why? Now, I'm sure, Matt, we've been asked something similar like this, maybe not recently, but a while back anyway. So I'm not going to give a full 5 here unless you would like to fill out the few picks that I had. But people, this is just in a fan base. I'm not going to take into account whether WWE could actually sign these people. But they're guys that I would like to in the WWE if WWE are going to use them correctly. Right? That's the premise that I'm using upon.
It's kind of like the most important piece.
So my thought of is if Undertaker's going and Bray Wyatt, you know, the only dark character on the show, you need a big destructive dark character. You bring in Mil Muertes to come in and make me book him, because he wouldn't fucking lose to anyone with Mil Muertes. He would fucking destroy everyone, right?
Yeah.
So, Mil Muertes. I think Ricochet is a guy that they should have already gone after, and I think they have interest in. So, you may know him as Prince Puma. And if I was the guys down at NXT, I'd probably try and get AJ Styles for his indie drawing power. He's already doing it outside of WWE. Give him a good offer. He works with guys that he likes, like Samoa Joe, James Storm. I'm sure he'd want to work with like some Finn Balor, some of the other guys they've got coming up, earning a good paycheck. I know he's earning more, but I'm not looking into the logistics. Yeah, AJ Styles, I'd like to see him wrestle a few guys in NXT.
Definitely.
More not like the guys like Samoa Joe, but I'd like to see him wrestle some of the other guys that WWE have made. You know, so. Yeah, stuff like that. Is there anyone else that maybe you think, maybe someone that you're like, you know what, I'd like to see him in WWE, whether or not it would happen or not?
No, I can't say I have, because a lot of the time, the moment I think that, I just think to myself, yeah, they'll probably fuck him up.
Yeah, one of the things I thought of as well is that if WWE were going to do this and they pluck, let's say, 5 guys,
the pairing of
go on.
Pentagon Jr. and Vampiro.
Ooh, yeah, I'd like that. To be booked in NXT though.
But yeah, I was going to say, but nowadays, no. Even then, still, like you say, in NXT, yeah, but no.
Looking at it in a perfect world,
they still wouldn't be able to. In nowadays,
yeah. In a perfect world, we can come up with billions of reasons why most of those guys on that list wouldn't work, but still. And like I said, what I was building up to there, Matt,
especially Vampiro and Jr.
Jeez, yeah, especially those guys, Jesus. But I wouldn't be a fan of WWE plucking out too many big indie stars, because I'd like them to give some of their developmental guys a shot, because otherwise they get swallowed up in the system, and a lot of those places that these guys that are fresh, and I've got time for some of these. Yeah, they might have been made by WWE, but if I find them exciting and interesting, like a Tyler Breeze, I'm certainly not going to shun them any. So, yeah,
that's all.
No problem with that. This episode is brought to you by Pepsi. It keeps me hydrated throughout the majority of this show. So there you go. And by the way, we're not being sponsored. If we're getting sponsored by Pepsi, we'll be getting paid fucking bucketfuls, but no. Kane St. Dennis asks, whose theme song do you think perfectly matches their character? He think The Miz's current theme and Tyler Breeze's original theme. So, some choices for you there. Easy answer for this one, Matt, is obviously Undertaker and Kane.
Yeah.
You know, you've got the very demonic entrance music for Kane, and you've got the you've got the fucking death bell, entrance for Taker himself. Because it's extremely character based, so it does fit their character. I think New Days is a good one, Matt.
Yeah.
So I think it fits their characters quite well, especially as they came in as a gospel group, kind of in the same sense, but that's kind of changed now. And one of the other ones, Matt, is Cameron. Yeah. Do you know why, Matt? Do you know why Cameron?
Don't.
Why her
voice.
entrance music perfectly matches their character, because her music is generic, boring, and utterly replaceable. Matches
fair enough.
Matches her pretty well, I thought. So
yeah, actually, you completely changed my mind with that one.
Yeah,
I thought you were just like, oh no, where is he? Oh,
yeah. You thought I was going one way, and I took your ass down a different way. Now you like it.
Took a different turn.
Take a different turn. Anyone that you think? Maybe Sasha Banks. I do like. Well, that's just not like her theme, though. To be honest, that's. I thought Finn Balor, but his isn't really a demonic soundtrack or anything. But I don't know.
I still like it.
Samoa Joe's new one fits his character because it's still very much inspired by his heritage and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's how it should be.
Completely forgotten the Usos theme. Is the Usos quite true to them?
No,
it's not.
Like eventually, like when they
Rusev.
do
Rusev,
yes.
You've got to say
yes,
Rusev.
Easily Rusev.
Jack Swagger.
Yeah. To be fair, Ziggler.
Kind of. You could probably put that as anyone's theme music and it would still sound good. So.
Yeah.
With like the likes of Rusev and all that lot, if you put his theme song on anyone else, it'd look weird. But with him, it's perfect. So it matches quite well. But there you go. Some things. I think Cameron tops the list though for those particular reasons. Matt, I have picked this as the question of the week. Are you ready?
Okay.
Are you ready for this one? Rob asks, what are our thoughts on the Full Sail crowd? Do we enjoy their random chanting, or do you think they've started to go into business for themselves and are starting to spoil the product? Now, good question. Great question, this one. And I gave a lot of thought about it, because a lot of people don't like the fact that, as you say there, Rob, they do go sometimes into a bit of business, and sometimes in certain segments they can take away from what's going on in the ring.
Yeah.
Be a bit distracting sometimes.
Well, I know that the Jericho book is very distracting and quite interesting.
Yeah. But the thing is, and I did think about this for ages, Matt, so I'd love to get your thoughts on what my overall thought of this is.
Okay.
With largely, I think that the intimate, hyper-interactive audience was part of the reason that NXT got as hot as it is. It gave the show a very ECW feel. And I think that the NXT crowd gives far more to the show than they take away from it. So, with their chants and them being so involved in the show, it's infectious, for one. They're very generous to new people that come in. So you've got guys that are having their debut matches, which don't even have a gimmick, and they're giving generic theme music, and maybe aren't even that good in the ring. They give a shot to, right? They give a chance. They sometimes they get their name cheered by those fans, which is obviously puts them a little bit more at ease. And sometimes they'll do chants, or they'll get into moments that can sometimes give new catchphrases to these wrestlers, which can make new shirts, new merchandise, which those same people end up buying. New gimmicks in very unique cases for these people. And it can kind of give these wrestlers a new angle to get a pop out of these crowds in a moment where the match is on a bit of a dull moment. So the crowd in general is quite generous, I think. The moments that they take away from the show is, like, for instance, the one I can remember is Kevin Owens ranting about them booing every time that Brooklyn was said on the show in Full Sail, because they were angry that the special wasn't going to be in Full Sail, that they were going to Brooklyn, which obviously was quite short-sighted, because as Kevin Owens said, which I'm sure was out of character, even though it kind of is in character as well, that's why he got away with it, but he was like, why are you booing us? That's ridiculous. You should want us to be able to sell out the Barclays Center with tens of thousands of people in this event to grow our brand so that we can become better and we can become more of a brand. Whereas the fans didn't really like it that much. And now, less so. Whenever they say London, they're not really bothered about them coming to London. But there are a few negatives that crop up time to time, Matt, but I believe that the rewards and what the crowd gives to the show far outweighs that. So what is your general thought? Are you with that, or are you
I am on a very similar mindset of that. I find it quite good that they're a lot more interactive. So it takes it away from the show or anything like that. But have you ever watched like old ECW? Like it sticks with that sort of crowd mentality. It's a very loyal fan base.
Yeah.
And
the ECW crowd were very...
I have no problems with the Full Sail crowd.
The ECW crowd were very generous in the same thing, wouldn't they? They would give these guys time to make their name, and they wouldn't boo them for being new.
I don't know. Sometimes they could be ruthless.
Yeah. Maybe a lot more ruthless than the Full Sail crowd. We'll give them that, so it could be worse. But, it came with being the territory of being Extreme Championship Wrestling.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
The fans were just as extreme as anything else on that show, so... Yeah, I honestly think sometimes it is a little bit annoying. Sometimes they go a little overboard, but they give far more to the show than they take away, and I would take that sort of interaction over a dead crowd any day of the week. Any crowd chanting something is better than nothing. A dead show can feel fucking empty and lonely. It really can. Not just for us watching, but for the people in the ring as well, the wrestlers themselves. So there is that. Good questions this week. If you guys want to... okay. All right. Stopping me in my tracks.
Sorry, but the Marsanda Mafia has a question.
Oh, okay. And I guess it's not even my choice whether I can continue because the Mafia has spoken. Is that
Indeed.
right? Okay.
Indeed, we sit upon our chairs
Okay.
and our steepled fingers.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Hit me. What have you got?
Dan Macy,
Mhm.
my lieutenant,
Mhm.
was Roman Reigns booed by the Atlanta crowd because he lost to Sheamus, or because the Markish fans refused to get behind him?
I don't think he was booed that badly in Atlanta.
I don't think so.
They cheered for Sheamus, I guess. Yeah, there is that. I think there's... I don't know, man. You cover that first. You cover it.
I can't really say. It's a tough one. I would like to believe that it's probably just the butthurt crowd sort of just going, "Wait, they're not going to give it to Roman." But this week on Raw, they fucking loved Reigns.
Yeah, man. I thought after... On my review, I said that when Reigns speared Triple H, people in unison were cheering for the guy. Reigns,
Oh, yeah.
When he celebrated after spearing Triple H, that was the perfect. They should have ended it there, to be honest.
Yeah, they could have done.
But they obviously didn't. But still, I think there's going to be some section of fans that there's some people that just don't like Roman Reigns, and that's fine. But they wouldn't go out of his way and want him to, they wouldn't boo him when he's having a great match, right? They just don't like him. And that's it, right?
And that's the end of that.
But there's some section of fans. These are the same people that wanted John Cena to get injured so he wouldn't be around. That baby rage, and they get just fucking. They go crazy. These are the same people on Twitter that would tweet people and say, "I hope you commit suicide and your kids die, and I hope that your wife gets raped and all this sort of shit."
You could just give up on your career because I just don't give a shit about you.
Yeah. Now maybe I'm going a bit extreme. Some people are just booing because it's the cool thing to do, right? Is to boo the anti-establishment, whereas more rounded critics like me, myself, and Matt can see what Roman Reigns has done.
They're forcing Reigns on me. Boo Reigns.
And then they will go and moan next week that there's no new stars in WWE, right? And it's like, well, you're kind of facilitating.
Shat on everyone else, yeah.
Yeah, you're facilitating this sort of thing where whenever WWE wants to build a new star, you just won't fucking let them, right?
I saw a picture actually, which I thought was quite fitting, and it was sort of like, "Oh, they've put the heel that I didn't want to win over, and I don't like that one. I want the heel that I like to win because that's a heel that I can cheer." It's like, then he's no longer a heel. Yeah, you're not how fucking psychology works,
yeah,
folks.
Yeah. And, psychology nowadays is harder to capture because of kayfabe being dead, but WWE should have adapted already to that over time.
Oh, yeah.
But still, it's just it's not quite there. Reigns, I think, has won. To be honest, he never needed to win us over. We were fine with him winning at WrestleMania, to be honest. But he has won more people over with his in-ring work, because one of the things that people were leaning on was saying, well, he's just not good enough singles wrestler, where that doesn't apply to Roman Reigns anymore. He's just as good as anyone else that WWE has.
Yeah.
The quality of matches he's had have dramatically improved since WrestleMania, funny enough. And over the last 2 months, he's really picked up his game, and you've got to give him props for that. So, yeah, I think there's going to be some people that would just dislike him because they're the same people that would dislike John Cena, right? They're just doing it because they want to be different, right? They don't want to be one of the, quote, sheep, right? Even though, funny enough, they kind of already are, because they're booing him because they don't want... Because they don't want to be like everyone. That's still being a sheep. You're going one way because the other people are going this way. You've got no real reason for it. But
guess what? There's other people who also go that way.
Yeah. I trust me, Dan Massey. Far more people wanted Roman Reigns to win than they wanted Sheamus to win. Believe me at that. Maybe they chanted when Sheamus came in because it's a moment at very least. But I think the ratings speak in generalization. More people, I guarantee, would have taken to Reigns being champion than Sheamus. That's just the way it is. But I guess we'll never know. People might say, well, they might have had the same rating with Reigns as champion. We just don't know. We don't know the way it is. I would go along the lines that Sheamus winning the belt dramatically impacted the ratings for the worst. That's my guess on that, but we'll get to that anyway. NXT, Matt, you didn't catch it this week.
I haven't, no. I know. I sort of know a few bits.
Before we get into NXT, I always forget to do this at the end of the questions. Leave your questions in the comment section below. You can tweet us and become one of the Marsanda Mafia, I guess. At what is it, Matt? What's the Marsanda Mafia home base?
of at Talk Wrestle Pod.
That is it. You can also now leave them on our Facebook page. Just let us know in that if you would like for it to be answered on the show, because otherwise I might just answer it on the page, and then that's kind of the way it goes from there. So NXT report card. We're not reporting. In fact, I'm genuinely thinking of dropping the report card and making an NXT review, because I catch it each week anyway, and just going through some of the things that I have thought of and some of the matches that I liked throughout the course of that week. And if you hadn't been so busy this week, you would have caught NXT as per usual as well. So maybe that's what we go for. Maybe, I don't know. I wonder how our fans think of that. Let us know what you think, and
we'll wait and see.
We'll wait and see how it goes. But Enzo and Cass returned on this show, Matt.
Hey.
Bada boom, realest guys in the room. They're the Vaudevillains and Dash and Dawson rematch, of which, of course, Dash and Dawson won. And, Enzo and Cass came out like a bat out of hell, and they beat the shit out of these guys. Cass, more so, looked like a fucking boss. He looked like he was ready to tear these guys' heads off, and Enzo was going a bit ballistic. Yeah. I mean, a guy that size and that build coming towards you full pace, man, I wouldn't want to be in the way. Even if I was built like Dash and Dawson, just wouldn't want to do it. And it looks like this is the tag match we're going to get at London. Enzo and Cass going against the champs for the titles. And man,
I'm good with that.
Man, is their entrance, Enzo and Cass, is going to be fucking loud. It's going to damn near blow the roof off the place. It really will. So. Yeah. There is that. That's cool. And one thing that shocked me so well, Matt, there was finally an Eva Marie match that I loved. Oh, yeah? Yeah,
you mentioned that, actually.
An Eva Marie versus Bayley Women's World Championship match, NXT Championship match. Yeah. That was, I can only say, masterfully booked. I honestly...
I'm shocked.
I couldn't think that they could do this, but they did. In the end, when what they did, and I'm going to explain what they did for you, Matt. When the whole thing was said and done, I thought, wow, that was really engaging. I was really into that. I was like, man, they could have done this for London. I would have sold this for London, especially with the response that they would have got from what Eva Marie was trying to do in this. Man, it would have been really fun what they had done here. So what they did is that throughout the show, Matt, they are playing up that the WWE management are setting up the odds against Bayley. For instance, Michael Cole is around because Regal had his surgery, and apparently William Regal didn't want to make the match, but Michael Cole, he's more than happy to make the match between Eva Marie and Bayley for the championship. Yeah, funny enough, right? So they have Eva Marie set up in Regal's Regal's office as he's not there. You've got Nia Jax that comes down with her before the match. Charles Robinson is introduced as being the senior official that will be overseeing the match. So all these little nods that this is going to be a screw job. They're going to take the belt off Bayley. All the fans thought that anyway, and it's the perfect way to book Eva Marie, that she's this heel that the uppers, up on the main roster would love to see her as champion. Total Diva. They even make a nod that Total Divas are behind her getting the push, because in her with the interview that she's getting ready, she looks
behind
back.
Eva Marie.
Behind Eva Marie, there's just tons of Total Diva stuff. Like, they've sent her tons of stuff to get ready for this title match because it would look great. Her being a champion, being on Total Divas, be awesome, right? So the odds are stacked against her. You've got Nia Jax outside the ring, and I tell you what, it felt like, Matt, with Bayley fighting against the odds. Through certain, let's say, fast counts, through the referee being pulled out of the ring very early when Bayley hit the belly-to-belly suplex within about 2 minutes, because clearly she could beat Eva Marie in a fair one-on-one match.
Oh, yeah, easily.
But she's a heel Eva Marie. It shouldn't be a fair match, right?
Yeah.
And they played off this so well. So Bayley's like, she can kind of suss out that they're trying to screw me. They're trying to fuck me over here.
Yeah.
So she's got to fight then Nia Jax and Eva Marie. And it made a feeling. Do you remember when Austin used to have the odds stacked against him? And somehow, Matt, he would find a way. Somehow he would defy the odds, find a way of getting out of that pay-per-view with his title, and Vince McMahon ripping out his hair going, Austin, damn you, Austin! I couldn't take the belt off you. It felt like that. In fact, Bayley was Stone Cold Steve Austin this week. She really was. It was so much fun.
It's crazy to think that way.
Yeah. Eva Marie played her role superbly. Right, I've got to call it as I see it. She played her role. Obviously, her in-ring skill isn't that good, but the fact is that even if her in-ring skill was good, then this angle wouldn't have worked. Whoever came up and booked this should be given a fucking medal. And I would like to shake their hand and say, I don't know how you did it, but well done.
Bravo.
This was so much fun. It really was. It was so masterfully executed, brilliantly booked. And well done to everyone. Like I said, if they could put everyone in front of me that was involved in the making of this match, including Eva Marie, I would shake their hand and say, "Fucking well done. Well, good work. Good work." That's how you do it. And like I said afterwards, I was like, okay, so it looks like they're building to a Nia Jax Bayley match, which is kind of random, right? And Nia Jax only just came in, so people may ask whether she's even a worthy of a contender. But they could have played off this dynamic with the London crowd so well, with the fear that if Eva Marie actually did it and they screwed over Bayley, then there would have been a fucking riot. And it had the same ending with obviously Bayley managing to win, with the NXT referee coming back in with Charles Robinson knocked down, and he's the one who counts for Bayley, and she manages to get out with the championship. With that finish in London, that takeover, that would have been a more than serviceable women's match. And surely, in ring, it wouldn't have been as good as the matches that Bayley had with Sasha. But there's no one on the roster that could have had a good of a match that she had with Sasha. So why not have a match that's filled to the brim with story and characters and intrigue and twists and turns and fan interaction? Man, I was engaged in this match. This was fucking fun. This was so good. So fair play to all involved. I thought that this was a home run if there ever was one. And it's the first match of Eva Marie's that I will gladly go back and watch again. So, there you go.
That's a strong statement.
Yeah, it is, right? In a week of bad wrestling news and bad booking and not particularly great matches, it's a shock that Eva Marie and Bayley, Eva Marie of all people, comes to save the day. Right? I don't understand it, and believe me, guys, if she's in a situation where it isn't booked as well with someone, and the situation doesn't call for it, or the characters fit into the right place, and the match isn't executed as well as it was, then her flaws will be more openly exposed, and all those issues come back. But they didn't even try and play out that Eva Marie was on the same level as Bayley. Bayley was easily beating the woman, but with all the odds stacked up against her, suddenly Eva Marie looked like she could actually pull this off.
It's almost like now that it was almost like she was part of the system, rather than trying to run it all on her own.
Yeah, and she was openly happy. She was fine. She was damn near flaunting it. Look at all this Total Divas stuff I got. Look at this referee that's helping me out. Look at Michael Cole coming out and making this match for me. You don't deserve to be champion because they've clearly chosen me to be.
Because they don't like you.
Because they don't like you, yeah. And she's playing the role now that she should have been all along. She should have. I said on our Facebook post that she needs to use this interaction that she has, all this negative feedback, and there is ways that you can creatively use it, and they did. So awesome stuff. Yeah. Creative people, they got creative on us. That's what they did. Awesome stuff. But unfortunately, Matt, if I could end the show there, and we could talk about that fantastic match, we could go home with a smile on our face. But there's about an hour, maybe less than an hour left of this show, and that is sectioned off for the Raw review, the record-breaking Raw review, Matt. I need to get a new glass of Pepsi before I begin. This one's going to be a tough one, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not going to be easy.
Let me pour out my Pepsi, because this is going to be painful for all involved, but we'll try and make it fun for you, as we always do on the show. Matt, how did you get on in terms of getting through this show this week before we review it?
It took a few attempts.
Yeah, I watched the last of it this morning, and I almost fell asleep watching it.
Ooh.
Which I don't normally do. Maybe it was a thing where I was tired anyway, but
okay, yeah.
Still, it wasn't as if I was on the edge of my seat watching what's going to happen next on Raw. I had to stop and go to bed for a couple of hours, which Matt, I never do. And then I had to wake up and...
I had to give it up, just like, nope, no, not for the moment.
Just not gonna... It ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna miss the rest of it, and... so still. So here we are. The record-breaking Raw for all the wrong reasons because of its shocking ratings. We're on the road to TLC, and WWE have an absolute mile to climb if they want to get people genuinely invested back in the show. Talking of TNA, WWE were in Nashville this week. So
That's true.
I would say it's TNA's backyard, but they would need a feasible audience to have a yard. So
Oh.
yeah, I'm firing all sorts of things. It's like Wayne Rooney and TNA. That's what really pisses me off on this show. So, all right, let's get to it. Triple H and Stephanie McMahon skip to the ring to kick off the show. They're all happy. At least someone is. They say Reigns keeps turning down opportunities. And then they pontificate about what happened at the end of the pay-per-view, explain what happened. They bring out Mr. Ratings himself, which he'll be called that sarcastically for the rest of his title run. Sheamus, Mr. Ratings. And he does his best to elicit a heel response from the crowd. He gives one hell of a promo, does this guy. Not really, but most people couldn't care less anyway.
He tries.
He tried. He relates to the actual historical Roman Empire and says that it lasted for 500 years. Reigns' title run lasted just around 5 minutes. So, there is that. He asked the fans who looks stupid now and said it over and over again, hoping to get more of a response, I imagine.
Answer. Please answer. Don't hate me.
Or hate me. Just give me something. Yeah, just anything. I'll take that. Talking of Reigns, he saunters slowly down to the ring. Matt, did you listen to my pay-per-view review?
I haven't had a full listen yet, no.
You haven't listened to the end. Let me explain how I would have booked Roman Reigns. I went through a big thing on the end of that, explaining how I would have booked Roman Reigns after Survivor Series, what they've done.
Okay.
Essentially, do you know what Roman Reigns has done throughout the majority of his time going for the World Championship?
Struggled.
He struggles because he's played by the authorities' rules. This ass-kicker who apparently wants to do things his own way has been doing everything the authorities' way, right? He's been doing everything. Yeah, he's been
exactly what I've been thinking. Like recently, when they were just sort of like, "Oh yeah," like right at the end, where it's sort of like, well, no, I completely agree. We'll cover it. We'll go over it in a bit.
Let me explain more what I wanted them to do with Reigns. So Reigns doesn't talk, right? Initially, what they do, they come out exactly like they did here with Sheamus. And Triple H gets on the microphone and says, "Well, do you know what? If Reigns wants his title match, he's not getting one. He wasn't champion long enough to even sign a contract for a rematch clause, so he doesn't get a rematch. And as far as I'm concerned, there's no reason for him to get a match again. That's it. He's done.
You don't deserve one.
Yeah, you don't deserve one. We've got Sheamus as our champion now. You know what? Why don't you just go home? We don't need you, Roman. You can go home, and you won't ever get a title shot." So Roman Reigns is like,
lick your wounds and
and then So when they do stuff with Sheamus over the next couple of weeks, where they're trying to get him over as his champion, they're having celebrations in the ring for him. They send him to. They do like maybe a part where he's opening a store somewhere if they really want to get creative, or he's doing an interview for ESPN or something along these lines. Everything that this man tries to do as champion, Roman Reigns is hunting him mercilessly.
It's always there.
Yeah, he's always there. It gets to a point, Matt, with the constant beatings that Sheamus is receiving, and the fact he can barely get out of his front door without Roman Reigns hunting him down like a dog, that eventually Triple H has to go, "Well, shit, I can't do anything about this guy. Like, I've put security, I've banned him from the arena, I've done everything I can. I can't stop him. He's coming, and I can't stop Roman Reigns. I've made this guy snap, and I'm trying to move forward. I'm trying to have a new corporate champion, but Sheamus can barely move without Roman Reigns taking him out."
Why is he just not letting me do this?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. So it gets to a point where he's like, "Okay, you know what, Roman? If I give you your rematch at TLC, that's it. After that, if you don't win that match, I'm going to have to fire you so I can actually arrest you for what you're doing, or something along these lines." So Roman's like, "That's all I ever wanted was my title match." But guess what? He keeps doing it anyway. He keeps hunting down Sheamus. He's like this machine, this homing missile that just can't let Sheamus get. He just won't let Sheamus go. And at the pay-per-view, he doesn't, like, he has a decent match with Sheamus. Sheamus gets some offense in, but Sheamus, being the guy who lost in the first round of the World Title Tournament, who lost at Survivor Series, has lost tons of matches, and only won his title by cashing in on Reigns after he'd already been through 2 matches, right?
Yeah.
Roman Reigns defeats him and basically makes it uncomfortable. Like, he destroys Sheamus at the end of that match, and damn near writes Sheamus out until,
Like,
let's say,
all this anger sort of thing.
yeah, he writes Sheamus off until, like, the Royal Rumble, and then he might enter the Royal Rumble, and people might ask him, well, do you want your rematch with Roman Reigns? And you can tell that he's kind of like a little bit like, I don't quite know if I do, because I got fucking destroyed, right? I got annihilated, Brock Lesnar style. I got annihilated by Roman Reigns. He doesn't outright say it, but you can play up in his character like, yeah, sure, I definitely want my rematch. And then you've got Roman Reigns with his bell, walks past and is like, do you want to have your rematch tonight? I'll be more than happy to. And Reigns is like, and Sheamus is like, no, I'll choose when I have my rematch, and maybe they can go on from there and goes from there. That's how they fix Roman Reigns. But the minute he came out smiling about the situation and getting on the mic and talking very nonchalantly about the situation, that's when that idea went out the window. You couldn't do Reigns the way I wanted to do him. Literally, the first time that you see Roman Reigns, the way I would have booked him...
Why do you keep ruining him?
Yeah, I wouldn't have had Roman Reigns come out at the start of the show. I would have had the Authority come out. There, Sheamus is our champion, and Roman Reigns is not getting his title shot. And then at the end of the show, you've got this grand celebration for Sheamus. You've got all these props set up for Sheamus, and you've got guys out there shaking his hand, and Triple H all happy. And then Reigns comes down like a fucking jackhammer and just destroys the entire thing. Yeah. Tears up the ring. Right, goes like a one-man nexus, fucking goes ballistic. That's it. That's how I would have done it. But that entitles him to be an ass kicker, which he isn't really being here. So still, that's how I would have booked him, guys. But we can dream. We can dream. I honestly think that would have worked. I really do think that would have got everyone would have been cheering for Reigns to kick the shit out of Sheamus. But
yeah.
Still, this ass kicker, and I use that in quotations, is just playing by the Authority's rules. He's just doing exactly really what they tell him to do, and you wouldn't look at the likes of The Rock and Steve Austin playing by Vince McMahon's rules back in the day. They just wouldn't do it if they were faces. They did their thing, because they knew that if they needed to knock out Vince McMahon to do what they needed to do, well, guess what? That's what they did. Anyway... Triple H stares down Roman Reigns, and I'm sure he's looking probably at his new plans for WrestleMania since Rollins is out. That's probably what it is. And Reigns takes it like a good old employee. Rusev comes out of nowhere, kicks Reigns in the head, and then he eats another bro kick. Not Rusev, Reigns does. And this is where the Authority is given more consideration than any of their rising stars, and that's a real shame. Rusev and Reigns is announced as the main event of the night. And that booking of Roman Reigns is a far cry from what I would have
And
done.
the crowd goes mild
They
for
do.
it.
To quote a certain awesome Mark remark from that. By the way, that's another show you guys should go look at. He doesn't do many episodes. Little Karibo does his own wrestling show. Go and check it out. It's quite good. He has the same sort of comedy that we do. Same sense of humour, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Wyatt family versus the Dudley Boys. They are the first match of the night. Dudley's relegated to jobber duty. Jobber entrances as well. And I imagine WWE will go the usual route with the Wyatts and book them as if the Survivor Series match never really happened. Did they face the Brothers of Destruction? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Cole tells us on commentary that apparently Bray Wyatt was the one who tombstoned Luke Harper. I must have missed that, to be honest. I don't know what show he was watching. And to be honest, Luke Harper has every right to be a little bit pissed if his own fucking leader of his cult tombstoned him in that match. That would have been a bit awkward.
Yeah, it's a proper dick thing.
Slip of the tongue for Cole there again. Quick match, Harper gets the win with a dirty discus clothesline, which, to be honest, I don't think he's ever done a discus clothesline. Doesn't look like he's basically ripping their head off, but that's the reason why it's good.
Your head, I want it.
Exactly, right? And the Wyatts give the Dudleys a bit of a beating after the match is over, and then the long road to rebuilding starts for the Wyatts. They've got to try and slowly build these guys up to seem like there's something serious again because they were so easily dispatched at Survivor Series. Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch. Jesus, I mean, Matt, I had forgot the fact that Sasha Banks hasn't even wrestled on Raw the last couple of weeks, which is...
I find it disgusting that Sasha Banks isn't even mentioned that often.
I think it's criminal. I really do. That's not how you treat the boss. No.
Not at all.
Not at all. When she's lugging around all those LTW awards for next week, from the 2-year anniversary of the show and the LTW awards, you know, they'll show you guys otherwise. Yeah, that's the way it is. I mean, like you said, Emma, I've got absolutely no idea why they haven't used her. There's no good reason for her not being used. So yeah.
Just is.
Yeah. So, with this match, the main roster are using a match that is proven. We know it works. We've seen it. These women could definitely go. And I'm sure that they wouldn't resort to using the greatest wrestling move in... Oh, wait, they did!
So,
yeah.
Crap.
The schoolboy roll-up pin beats Becky Lynch in what was a throwaway match. It never really got long enough before it could have been more. And we know it has the potential to be more. But it just wasn't really allowed to be. So there you go. Sasha Banks doing a far cry from what... She was like Kevin Owens, right? Doing all this groundbreaking stuff in NXT, straight onto the main roster.
Just come onto the main roster and flounder around a bit.
And look like the rest of the pack when they're clearly more able than the rest of them. But
yeah.
still. Paige shows up on the Titantron and she says that Charlotte cheated. Michael Cole disagrees with her, but she doesn't quite like that. She snaps back at Cole and says she has footage to prove her point. Careful, Paige, you might set Eva Marie on you like you did on Bayley this week. So.
Whoa. Proof?
Yeah. It shows that Charlotte, her head was touching the rope, or her elbow was like underneath the rope.
Her arm was under the rope, yeah.
Yeah, when she tapped out. I'm sure WWE didn't want to show Paige shuffling away from the ropes and that awfully botched finish where she could have basically... Did you read that? Listen to that part of the review where I referenced it to one of the matches that we had. Yeah, that's quite funny. And I did say that there wouldn't be a singles match between Charlotte and Paige, and considering what happened in the end of the show, there won't be 2 singles matches between them. There will be more than that. So, there you go. They show an advertisement map for Santa's Little Helper, which looks like it may be a contender for most cringe-worthy WWE movie of all time.
It looks so great.
Are you excited?
No.
No? No?
In fact, I didn't even see it.
I haven't seen it.
I didn't see the trailer.
I'm afraid that it might end up hurting me in my soul if I watch that movie. So yeah,
it's like right in the feelings.
Right. I'll watch it, and the next I'll just announce that I'm leaving the podcast because there's no point anymore.
Okay, yeah.
And it's just the Matt Marsander show now, and I just slowly...
It's the Matt Marsander show.
Now you're gonna have to do your own solo show with that intro, Matt. Okay, yeah, with your mafia with you as well. Yeah, most cringeworthy WWE movie of all time. It is a tough category to win, I can assure you, because there are a lot of very cringeworthy WWE movies. So, I think the last one I watched was like The Marine 3, and they've made like another Marine movie since then with Summer Rae, and that's the last WWE movie I watched.
I don't even know the last one I actually saw at all.
Really?
Genuinely couldn't tell you what the last one I saw was.
We lost, well, to be honest...
Condemned?
Well, with Austin, you must have seen another one since then. That was one of the first ones they did. You saw Behind Enemy Lines Columbia, so...
Oh, yeah, don't remind me.
Yeah, with Mr. Anderson. Oh, was it Ted DiBiase, was it? I don't know. One of the two.
Kennedy.
They're both gone now, anyway.
It was Kennedy.
It shows how long ago that was, Matt. Jeez, I mean... Kennedy's been with fucking TNA for God knows how long now, so...
Hang on, I've got the box.
Oh, he's going to get it. He's going to get it. Oh, The Chaperone. Have you seen The Chaperone?
I have not.
Yeah, I've seen The Chaperone. That was pretty shit. That was...
Mr. Kennedy.
Go on. When was it released, though? Look at the box. What?
I don't know. It's all part of a... It's like a thing that has like 12 rounds, The Marine, Walking Tall, and behind Enemy Lines Columbia.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Does it have a date?
Far too long ago to be relevant. That's the day. Right.
That's 89 minutes. That's far too long.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you.
No problem. We'll move on anyway. But still. New Day are out for their country western song surprise and open challenge. Oh yes,
Their
jamboree. That's the one. And they are adorned with unicorn hobby horses. And Kofi is wearing his hairstyle in a way that makes him look like he's overcompensating for something. It's yeah. A
little bit.
He could easily help out with the submission sorority with a hairstyle like that. Let's just say that. So. They're horrified to share a birthday with the capital of country music.
They shared.
Well, they're sharing their birthday,
but they had to be there for it.
Yeah, that's it. And tells them that country music sucks. Then they sing a little bit of country music. Now, Matt, I'm not a fan of country music, but if New Day did an album of country music, I probably would buy that shit. I was quite impressed with what they did here.
You'd buy it?
Oh, yeah, I'd give it a go. Be better than John Cena's album.
I've broken my truck.
You know, remember John Cena, I'm a bad, bad man, or whatever he came out with.
Never listened to it.
Yeah. Well, actually you have. It's his theme music, so...
Well, that's the closest I've done to it.
Yeah. Actually, I do laugh, but there is actually one song in his album that I actually really liked. I can't remember, but it was something like, what would you do, or something about tomorrow. I don't know, maybe one of the fans could say it. I actually like that song, so there you go. He did a song I like.
I think I've lost a bit of respect for you.
It's not that bad, that song. The rest of the album fucking shit, but... Like, that Bad Man song is just awful, and his entrance theme as well, but still.
Word, live. Oh, no.
Oh.
That's the other one.
Thugonomics, right?
He
did two!
And I'm fussing you to feel it. Word, live.
He didn't do 2 albums, did he?
I don't know.
God, still. So Kofi outright tells the fans that when he hates country music, it's not even his character speaking. He genuinely thinks country music sucks. I wonder if he'll get heat like Lana does for that, right? You know.
It's like, what?
Lucha Dragons come out and answers their open tag team challenge. The Usos also come out and want their title shot. And Sin Cara tells them, quite rightly, after speaking in Spanish first, which I hate the fact they make their talent do that. I think it's fucking stupid. And then proposes a triple threat match. Big E, Matt, hit the look on his face here that his beloved Jamboree was ruined. It broke my heart.
Oh man, I actually quite enjoyed New Day at this, but then I just enjoy New Day.
That's it. Kofi becomes the woman from Game of Thrones and starts shouting "Shame at everyone," which is quite fun. The Usos and the Lucha Dragons then fight the New Day out of the ring. There was no title match, but New Day again giving us at very least something that we can enjoy on a show full of shit.
Yeah.
Renee Young speaks to Charlotte backstage. She says that she knows it isn't over between herself and Paige, and she wants to face her again tonight. And I was initially about to say, well, I'm all for it if they have a new challenger they want to put their chips behind and get a good storyline going, but clearly they're not ready to give this Paige thing up for a little while.
No.
Oh, Matt. Oh, Neville versus Mark Henry.
Yeah. This was a thing.
So, now, we've made tons of jokes about pinning Mark Henry. In fact, guys, I have pinned Mark Henry this week. I pinned him last week when my leg wasn't doing too well either. So
I think I fell over in the street the other day.
Oh, you okay?
Yeah, I pinned Mark Henry.
Oh, okay, well that's fine. At least you landed on something. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we make tons of jokes about that, but guys, it's actually beyond a joke where Neville easily, and I mean easily, dispatches Mark Henry within minutes.
Oh yeah,
minutes. Now, a guy Henry's size should never be so easily beaten by someone of Neville's size. It just shouldn't happen, right? It's not me being, oh, you're hating the little guys. No, it's just, you put up someone that's 500 pounds against someone that's 200 pounds. You're going to do a lot more to try and get this guy off his feet, rather than Neville kicking him in the head and jumping on him, which got him in 3 count. So, man, it really, I thought it was hilarious because it just kind of validates all the jokes we've been making all before. You know, that the fucking El Torito could beat Mark Henry at the moment. He really could. So, still. He shakes Neville's hand after this, and this is supposed to mean that Neville struck some sort of rare, impressive victory against Mark Henry. Man, Mark Henry doesn't look like he could beat Buff Bagwell's deceased mother at this rate, so... That's a WCW reference for you there, but...
That's it.
Stardust is having a promo. He's freaking out about the Goldust being... The Goldust. I'm like, the Ryback. I'm like, Daniel Bryan. But Goldust being back.
The Daniel Bryan.
That's right. Titus O'Neil shows up. Apparently he made the wrong turn and ended up in Stardust's apparently moving mobile astralarium. So, good for him. So, awesome. Yeah. They stargaze with each other, and this comedy skit ends with Titus doing his Raw thing in Stardust's ear. So, yeah.
Woo.
Did you laugh, Matt?
I can't say I did.
No, I didn't laugh. I thought someone might have laughed. Oh well, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Somewhere there must have been a chuckle somewhere.
I imagine that there was someone that flicked over to Raw and was like, "Oh, you know, it's wrestling, can't be that bad," and then saw that and was like, "You know what? I'll go back to watching, you know, anything on Netflix because it's better." So, but remember, Matt, WWE Network is just like Netflix, but better value. Moving on. Stardust and the Ascension versus Primetime Players and Goldust. Matt, I feel so sorry for Goldust having been returned to action in the way that he was.
And now to be in this situation as well.
He's got, Matt, when he came back, there was no fan response for him. Goldust deserves way more than that. Jeez. I can't blame the crowd because the show wasn't very good, but when he came back, his first Raw in ages, and he got nothing. Absolutely nothing. I felt so bad. This guy's a legend. I know you're a huge fan of Goldust. This must have hurt you a lot more than it hurt me.
It was painful. It's, I don't know what to do.
I don't know.
It was actually depressing. It was sort of like Goldust is back, swanning around.
Yeah, and by the way, we always said that a good indication that Goldust hasn't really done much in a match, and the match itself isn't very good, is when every drop of the paint on his face is still there. And that's exactly
when he's pristine.
Not a single etch out of Stardust or Goldust's face paint was put out of place during the course of this match. That should probably tell you all you need to know.
Yeah.
So, Titus gets the win. He does his Clash of the Titus, and that's it. Don't really know where this is going, but sure, whatever. Oh, Matt, this bit. By the way, this is where the show started to nosedive quite badly, and where the majority of the fans had left the show, and the ratings got as bad as they did. Zeb Coulter and Alberto Del Rio are out to explain the MX America garbage. Oh yes, Matt. They say a lot of young nations have growing pains, and then they blast America and Mexico.
Yeah.
Mexico, sorry, not Mexico. I'm getting in the whole Mex America thing, it's getting in my head.
Yeah.
Right. Someone desperately needs to tell these guys that Mex America doesn't have fucking landmass. It doesn't exist. It's not a place. You can't just... The booking for this gimmick is fucking stupid.
I'm gonna have a quick look on an airline webpage.
For what?
Flights to Mex America.
Matt, can we get flights to Mex America? Because apparently there's no citizens there.
From London Heathrow to Mex America.
Is it a place, Matt? No? Is it?
It's not recognised.
It's not recognised.
I need to find a different destination.
Oh, well, that's a bit of a shocker, isn't it? There, jeez. Gee, I thought you would, but there.
Try Americo.
Yeah. Maybe it was a typo on their part. Everyone knows where Mex America is, right?
Americo isn't accepted either.
Oh dear, Matt.
Well, I guess it's not real.
The only thing that this gimmick had was a proud Mexican and a proud American together, but now they're blasting their own countries.
They've cancelled each other out.
Yeah, they've absolutely cancelled each other. It's so fucking stupid. This gimmick is like now they don't like each other's like America or Mexico, and they don't like the rest of the world. But they say that Mex-America is this gimmick doesn't make any fucking sense. It's dumb, and like it just I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Where are they going? What's the idea? It doesn't make sense. The characters don't make sense. They're not relatable. This is supposed to be the reality era. This is not reality. This is insanity. I don't know.
It's crazy.
It's
all bullshit.
maybe the gimmick is so good, Matt, that these two guys are actually, mentally challenged, and they do think that Mex-America is a place. Maybe that's the gimmick. And they could turn it all around on us by admitting that these guys need desperately medical attention, psychiatric evaluations, stat.
Just flat out, full on help.
Yeah. Jack Swagger comes on out and reminds Zeb that he used to make fucking sense as a xenophobic America lover who hated immigrants, but now he contradicts his own gimmick.
As a xenophobic racist. That's all he was, and we loved him for it.
Yeah,
Zeb.
But his character back then made sense, Matt. It absolutely made sense. He was like a lot of people in America, where they hate the immigrants, they think they're ruining the country. It was a character I could believe was real. But now he contradicts his own gimmick. Del Rio tells him to shut up making sense, because clearly that's not what's been booked by creative. They square off, and Del Rio runs away because clearly the situation was becoming too understandable, and he had to get out of there pronto. Oh my god!
I think we need to move on. You're getting a bit angry about this.
And I keep talking about how these characters need to have a bit more depth in them. They need to have aspirations, meanings, and actually make sense and be relatable.
It's just got to be something.
It's got. I don't know. The gimmick was kind of stupid to begin with. The whole, if you're going to be a heel, Mexico and America joining forces and hating everyone else, because the majority of their demographics are pretty much Mexico, America, maybe UK or whatever. They could blast us, but still. But then it's like
they will do when the next time they're over, because they have done before.
And now they're just hating themselves. They hate each other's country, and they're both happy with it. What?
It's bizarre.
Paige versus Charlotte for the Divas title. Looked like portions of this match were both women trying to figure out where they were going next. I don't know if you saw this match. It looked like they got lost every so often. In fact, I think I heard on the camera Paige, or I'd probably say it was Paige because she's quite guilty of this, shouting, "What are you doing?" Right? And it wasn't so much like, "What are you doing?" in terms of, "Why are you going to hurt me?" It was like, "Where are we going next in this match?"
Yeah.
It kind of looked a bit weird.
What's next?
Yeah.
I don't know. The one thing I didn't like is just like the way it started out. And they were like, "Oh, they really do hate each other," and they're just slapping each other. Just like, it just reminds me of, I can't remember if it was like Simpsons or something, where there's like Bart's playing a video game and it's like, "Bitch, whore, bitch, whore."
By the way, that sounds like quite an interesting arcade game. I always thought back then, who would actually make an arcade game with like fucking bitch and whore as the words, but still, that's brilliant. Or like skank when he's putting his hair on.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's it. It's bad I remember that particular old episode of Simpsons like you do, but still. Paige focused in on Charlotte's leg during this match, of which was basically the majority of the offense throughout it. And for what it's worth, Matt, bar a few problems where they looked like they were lost, I enjoyed this match a touch more than their pay-per-view match the night prior. Despite the finish being a double count out, and the fans in attendance were quite displeased with that. And as we said before, Paige locks the PTO on the table. Jesus Christ.
America.
Oh my god. So, yeah, there is that. And by the way, Cole and Saxton were speaking as if, by the way, this was the most disgusting thing, that she had gone a step too far by doing it on the table. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's not like being put through the table, it's just like she's on the table.
Oh my god. If anything, it's more dangerous for Paige, because if she loses her footing, then she's fucking falling backwards off the table.
That's legs busted.
Yeah, right? So, see how this stuff was. So, it's hilarious, it really is. And it's the second time they've done it. Now, Matt, you know when WWE are creatively bankrupt when they send Heath Slater out to the ring to have 5 minutes of him singing on a microphone.
Oh, yeah. The fact that we have Heath Slater at all.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah. And that's exactly what we got. So Heath Slater comes out, he's got his guitar, he's getting ready, he's gurgling and fucking coughing all the shit out of his lungs, like I've been doing majority this week. I have a slight chest infection, so that's what's been going on.
Sounds like my other half.
Yeah. It's going around. 'Tis the season for jolly and fucking colds and infections. So there you are. Ryback comes on out. Slater whacks him with his guitar, and then obviously he doesn't affect Ryback, so Ryback destroys him. I hope this was Vince McMahon's idea to pop a rating, and if it was, I'd fucking laugh my ass off. I really would. This is going to drive up real fan interaction. This is going to be brilliant. It's going to be so funny. Yes. Let's do it. Get out there with your guitar. Fantastic. So.
No.
It's just, it's.
Damn it.
Yeah. Stuff like this, I imagine, like I said, people switching the channel probably saw that and thought, oh, it's one of those weeks. You know what? I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm not going to catch the last half of this Raw.
That's it. Ambrose and Ziggler versus Owens and Tyler Breeze. WWE went back to their usual calling card of throwing random matches on Raw for no reason whatsoever than to just have a match. One of the good things that they had last month on the build-up to Survivor Series is that they had the number one contenders match. Obviously, Rollins then got injured. Then they had the tournament.
Yep.
So a huge portions of their show, every match, kind of had a meaning for existing. And it had an end game. These matches don't. So
Oh, no. That's all.
they drifted back into old habits, and old habits die hard. Dean wins the match with a dirty deeds, with Owens feeling like there was no reason to interfere in the pinfall because he doesn't want to waste our time. Good man, Owens. Good man. That's fine.
The one thing I hated is just like, it was another one of those matches where it's just like, hey, you guys all had matches last night. Your heels, your faces. Oh, well, that's a tag team.
You know what? Like, what I find is lazy about it. I don't mind
Tag team.
I don't mind matches like this, building up to a rivalry. But these are like mid-month matches that you do. The show after a pay-per-view, you build up new storylines.
Oh,
They just weren't any new storylines here. They just threw people that had already been rivaling against each other. Ambrose and Owens hadn't even done it. They just had a semi-final match against each other. And yeah, that's enough for them to have a tag. Man, this fucking Raw really annoyed me, man. It's like the WWE went back and all the good things that they had done over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And, man, Creative didn't have a good week this week, did they? When they air an argument between JBL, El Torito, and resident jobber Mark Henry.
Oh, that was fucking just...
Yeah. And the argument is whether or not they want Tex or Mex or a Mex-American burger. It's hard to tell, to be honest, which one they would want. This is all or at least I think it's an advertisement for a new burger. If it wasn't, then fucking hell, that was awful. And if it was an advertisement, then I didn't even know what it was for. So in case, it's fucking awful.
It's a burger, I think.
But I didn't know. They didn't tell us like at the end of this thing what burger was it for?
Like,
was it
who makes it? Like, I get it. We're not American, but that doesn't mean I might be going to. I might go there soon. I might want to know where to get a damn tasty burger.
Yeah, well, maybe it was a McDonald's burger, Matt. Maybe it was, maybe it was something like Sonic that they have over in America, so we can't get it. But still, even then, maybe the American fans saw what the actual advertisement was for. We didn't, so it just came off like, okay, this was a comedy skit.
Mark Henry just gets a bit trippy.
Yeah.
Of El Torito JBL baby, and burgers appear.
Yeah. What?
Just a strange man, just like, I bring you burger and Coke.
Yeah. Like, I'm having a fucking brain aneurysm about this Raw, Matt.
Yeah, I know.
Well, good, we're at the end at least. Rusev versus Reigns. As soon as these guys came out for the main event of the night, it became evidently clear that this show had fucking tanked. Like, in the ratings, we knew why it had at that point. There was barely any substance to it, nothing to get excited about. Sheamus kept getting involved in this match, which leads to him getting ejected halfway through. And I'll give Reigns and Rusev credit, they at least tried, but it's at the arse end of a bad 3-hour Raw show, and at that point, people had already left watching the show at that point. So, really,
Like, I genuinely wouldn't be shocked to hear that some people just got out of the crowd.
Yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't have been that bothered. The match ends with Barrett hitting Reigns with a ball hammer, which is a DQ finish, and then he tries to attack Reigns with a chair, but Reigns turns the table, batters Rusev, and floors the returning champion. Right at the end of this, where Reigns is going a little bit crazy with that chair, is more like the Reigns I wanted to book, but that's long gone. They can't do it now.
Do you know the one thing that I didn't like about this? It's like you say, like, the Reigns that you wanted. I completely understand that. I don't want that Reigns.
Okay.
I kind of wanted Reigns to be left in a pile of his own piss.
What, at the end of this?
At the end of this Raw.
Okay.
It's 3-on-1, but no, Reigns overcomes. Because he's the face, the hero. But if he came back, if he got left in a pile of his own piss at the end of this Raw, and next week he comes back and he's just like, fuck you guys. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
all we'd need.
I think if you were going to go my route and book Reigns the way you're going to, even doing it your way, I think it's too late by now. No, they've already messed it up. Like, they can't have him. Like, it has to be a personality change with Reigns. Something snaps with him losing that title match, and he doesn't just. Either or. I didn't particularly hate the end of the show. I thought it was okay, but to be honest, I mean, the rest of the show was pretty fucking poor. So there we are.
Yeah.
All in all, Matt, it became more evident the more the show continued on why the ratings were at such a record low. They gave me more reasons to understand the reason why that was the case. WWE doesn't have any interesting plot threads going in, and to be honest, they have even less going out of this show, which I don't know how they managed to do. There's a distinct lack of momentum, and WWE drifted back to old habits, throwing meaningless matches out there for no reason, and attempting bad comedy sketches to try and pop a rating. It was awful. This is back to the Raws that we have all hated over the majority of this year. And it unfortunately ends a long string of Raws that were actually pretty fucking good.
Yeah. I mean, it's just terrible, actually, because we had a pay-per-view that failed a good string of decent pay-per-views. And then we've had a Raw to fail a string of decent Raws.
Yeah.
Well, I say decent and a string. Like, 3 doesn't really count as a...
Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. Jeez. True. Yeah. Guys, it's a bad week for wrestling all in all. It was a bad Raw, bad pay-per-view. And I'm not excited for anything that comes up. Reigns might win the title at TLC, but the way I would have booked it would have made... People would have been excited for Roman Reigns to tear Sheamus to fucking shreds. And in a TLC environment as well, that match could have been really exciting. I'm sure they will have a good match, but just WWE doesn't have any hot storylines or hot wrestlers, and they only have themselves to blame for that.
Unfortunately.
That's just the way it is. Matt, is there anything else you want to cover before we wrap up this week's episode of the show?
No.
No. If you guys do like this episode, you can become one of the get ready, Matt, this is going to be awesome to say, 500 subscribers here on this. No, do you want to say it? You say it.
500.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's good. It's good. Like instant erection right there. Maybe I said a bit too much. Maybe that said that. Maybe that's a little bit awkward for our fans. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they got one too. I don't know. Digging myself a hole here. Shameless pay-per-view plot. Oh, we haven't done that in a while. That's good stuff. If you guys do want to subscribe to the channel, if you're new, then like I said, you can become one of those for over 500 subscribers. You can also leave us a like on the page if you want to. You can also leave us a comment in the section below, and any questions there will be answered on the show. You can like our Twitter account, which is...
@TalkWrestlePod.
Oh, yes. We're like the Harlem Globetrotters when it comes to plugging now. It's just like, yeah, it's awesome. And also you can join us on our Facebook page, like our Facebook page and interact with us there. And that is facebook.com/Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast. Apart from that, we will catch you guys next time for the 2-year anniversary of the Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast. The LTW Awards will be on the end of that show as well. And then just a couple of, literally the week after that then is, we're getting very close to our NXT show. So we'll be giving our review on the episodic show, because we won't have time with me flying back to do a review like we would usually do. And plus we're doing a pay-per-view review that week anyway, which I only just realised as well. So
Are we?
yeah, we're doing a
TLC, aren't we?
TLC, yeah. So we've got to do that.
Shit.
So yeah, that'll be a bunch of fun.
Busy week.
Busy ass week. But yeah, that's it for the show this week. I hope you enjoyed the show, even though the majority of us didn't. And hopefully it's a bit of a slower news week, and we just have more positive. Matt, I would die for a positive week next week. I hate talking about wrestling.
I know what you mean.
Just don't enjoy it. All right, guys, catch you next week. Hope you have a great week, and we'll catch you guys soon.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.